If nobody talks about you, then you are nobody. Then you are nobody. Remember, child.
This is not a Shango class, but rather a praise day for Shango. Shango is the lightning bolt. Shango is precision. Shango is also the rhythm that rules the world. He is that drummer that sets the tone for everything that happens and how things unfold. And today we're going to be talking about precision. We're going to be talking about lightning, which is divine fire, and thunder, which is the sound of lightning. And together they are precision and transformation. Precision is the concentrated strike. It is the discipline of measuring, of aligning, and of doing exactly what is required of you without distraction. When fire is precise, it does not entertain chaos. It is the lightning bolt. It strikes directly, never in the same place twice. You don't hear thunder and see lightning at the same time because the lightning comes first and it's fast and it is intentional. And the thunder makes us aware of what has happened, the changes that have happened. Now, keep that in mind because I'm going to go back to that. Thunder is the sound of lightning, okay? Fire, when it is precise, burns like lightning. It goes straight to the point. So when we're talking about fire here, we're talking about spiritual fire. We're talking about the fire that burns within a person that motivates them to fulfill their purpose, that keeps them going and allows them to burn through obstacles, literally. We're talking about the precision of fire that is best understood as the lightning bolt. You rarely hear thunder as you see lightning. And even when we do understand that's a function of a storm, right? There's so much lightning that the thunder claps seem to, it all happens together. But realistically, the thunder is the sound of the exploding air. So first we have the precision that burns through the atmosphere, which is lightning, the lightning strike. And then we have thunder, the announcement that it has happened. Too often in our own lives, we spend our energy bragging about what we have, about what we're going to do, about who we think we are. Sometimes, in a particularly misguided fashion, we talk about what we don't have. We complain about, oh, if it ain't one thing, it's another. You know, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have no luck at all. We do all that kind of stuff, right? But when we are walking in precision, we are called to put our energy towards the front end. We're called to put our energy towards actually doing those things that we intend to do, not talking about those things, not talking about how hard it is to do those things, not talking about other people who have done or tried to do those things, but we literally put our energy towards doing it. We create calculated strikes. That is lightning. That is the precision that I want you guys to tap into today and always. That is the power of Shango. Lightning is the strike. It's the process of burning through obstacles. It's about doing the math on the front end. Those of you who have been in my classes for Get Your Life, the book that I wrote that is a month-by-month guide to aligning your energy. The energy of September is very much Shango. It's very much Oya and Shango, who often travel together, change and precision, right? And so the energy of this month requires us to take calculations, to evaluate how far we've come, and to evaluate how much further we have to go to do those things that we said we were going to do, because that is precision. Doing the calculation, saying we're going to do a thing, measuring along the way, and ultimately doing that thing, applying science to our intentions to create a calculated strike. Precision is taking your measurements and refusing to let people, to let obstacles, to let rogue energies derail you. Now, a lot of what I'm talking about today is coming from my book, Fire and Flame. The link to that is in the comment section. You can order it on Amazon. This book is about the spiritual properties of fire and how we can use it to align. So let's talk about my first point about moving in precision. The first thing you have to do if you want to be precise is to do what you say you're going to do. Before we even get into Orisa Hoodoo doctrine, let's talk about things that are available on the open market to civilians, like the 4 agreements, right? That should be one of your foundational texts for just moving in excellence. And one of the 4 agreements is to be impeccable with your word, to do exactly what you say you're going to do. Precision is calculated. Precision is intentional. Precision is impeccably excellent with conveying your intentions. There's a Bible verse that says, let your yes be a yes and your no be a no. And that verse is from James chapter 5, verse 12. James, the half-brother of Jesus Christ. And he said, let your yes be a yes and let your no be a no. No is a complete sentence. It's better for you to say no when you are asked to do a thing than to say yes and then change your mind later. Just say no. The metaphysical law that we want to tap into for this power is the law of cause and effect. For every action, there is a reaction, whether it is your intention, whether that reaction is instant or delayed, whether that action is positive or negative. Sometimes we experience unintended reactions. Sometimes you say yes and you mean it in the moment. You have every intention of doing what you said you were going to do, but because you didn't do your calculations, because you weren't excellent and impeccable with the survey that you made over your resources, your time, and your desire, and you just said yes, because you didn't do what was necessary to align impeccably with your commitment, then you have to go back and say, I'm sorry, I'm not able to. I'm sorry, I don't want to. I'm sorry, I can't, right? And what does that do? That disappoints people. That creates negative energy in the atmosphere towards you, even if it's just for a second, even if it's just like, dang, I really wanted you to do it. Man, I thought you meant what you said when you said you were gonna come through. I thought you were really gonna do that thing for me. Even if it's just that split second when you disappoint someone and their opinion about you changes and the story that they now have to tell about you is just a little bit different. All of those things influence our ashe, our power, right? The way we are perceived, the way people will deal with us in the future, the impression that people have of us. I do a kind of reading. It is called the Exceedingly Glad Reading. And you can book that on my website. The link is in the description for this video. And that reading looks at 6 different parts of your life. And one of the parts is your reputation. It's actually called prestige. And we look at your prestige in that reading. We look at how people experience you, the effect that you have on people in your everyday life. We look at how spirit evaluates you, which is really a measurement of your alignment, how you are aligning with spiritual clouds of consciousness that you intend to interact with or tap into. So your spiritual reputation. How easily do you align with those energies that you intend to align, and how do you affect those that you walk with? People are always shocked by some of the things that come out. because we are not excellent with our word. We do not do what we say we're going to do. We do not do what we have to do, and we do not always do what we need to do. So the message here is to align yourself with what it is that you say that you are going to do. You have absolute control over that. You don't have to say shit, right? You never have to say that you're going to do a thing and then turn around and not do it. You could just say no from the beginning. No is a complete sentence. And it's better to say no and perhaps surprise someone with a difference, to under promise and over deliver, than it is to say yes and then have to say no later. Precision with your word. We all know that the lightning bolt is one of the most powerful phenomena on our planet. It's unpredictable. It's uncontrollable. It is right and exact every single time. So be impeccable with your word. The second point is you must do also what you are called to do. Precision is about taking accurate measurements and knowing what is yours to do, what is yours to have, what is yours to be, and what is not. Being precise means not letting distractions or detours derail you. It's about staying the course no matter what. One of the things that we have to know is that balance is the intention of all of this, yin and yang, right? That's not necessarily from Yoruba teachings. It's not necessarily from our doctrine, but it is a universal truth, right? As much shadow that exists in that 360 degrees, so there must be also that much light. Things have to be balanced. All the talents that you naturally have, all the blessings that you have at your disposal, all the resources that will cross your path. For as many of those things that exist, there will also be the opposite. There will also be difficulty. There will be challenges. There will be disappointments. There will be plots and plans against you. For as many people that rise up, that want to help you, that see your genius, that believe in your plan, that want to build with you, there will be those that their sole focus is to take you down. Their reason in life at that moment is to make sure that you don't do what it is that you said you were going to do, that you intend to do. And being precise means recognizing those things and rising above them, planning for those things, beginning with the end in mind, knowing that as hard as I fight to do this thing, as intentional as I am about doing this thing, there will be those people, energy, circumstances that will be poised to prevent me from doing it. So being precise means not being derailed. The other thing that you need to understand is that your calling is not a conference call. Nobody else needs to understand what your calling is. They don't need to understand why you feel it necessary to do that. They don't need to understand why you're doing it like that. They don't need to understand why you're doing it right now. Why don't you just wait when it might be easier, when the political landscape changes, when you have a little bit more money, when people know you a little bit better and you got more followers, when you finish school and now you got those letters behind your name. Why don't you just wait until then? That's not precision. That's you being derailed. That's you, instead of hearing the call, you're hearing everybody else's opinion about your call, and they wasn't even on the phone. Nobody called them and told them what you were supposed to do. This is a conversation that you're having with God and with Ori, but you're letting other people weigh in on what you know that you are called to do. Stop doing that. Be precise. Be like the lightning bolt. Go where the hell you're supposed to go and do those things that you're supposed to do, and let everybody else do the same. Stop being interfered with. You can't take shortcuts when you're answering your calling. When you align yourself with your purpose, you'll be surprised at how the universe itself will organize to make the work that you have to do possible. What may seem impossible will become effortless when you are walking in your purpose, when you are moving with precision, when you are doing what you are called to do. Sometimes what you want to do and what you have to do are two very different things. Why would they be the same thing? Why would you get to do what you want to do all the time? Why wouldn't you have to work? Why wouldn't you have to expend energy? I've been working out for a few months now. I'm working with a personal trainer. And not too long ago, he told me, he said, you have to burn calories. You have to burn more calories than you consume. And that is how you lose weight. Yet obesity leads to the diseases that kill more Americans than anything else. Obesity is a precursor to dis-ease more so than any other thing in this country. And all we have to do is turn up the heat to avoid that. All we need to do is turn up the heat within our body to burn more calories than we consume, and we could lose weight, and we would be less obese, and we would have fewer health issues. But that heat is hard. Facing that heat is not easy. Baba Ṣàngó don't play games with us. It's not comfortable. Whether that heat be in your spiritual life and you know you need to pray more, whether that heat be in the mundane aspects of your physical life and you know you need to just do what you say you're going to do more often than not, or whether that heat be on the floor in your Pilates class. There's a Bible verse, James chapter 1, verse 22, and he says, but be doers of the word and not hearers only. Be doers of the word and not hearers only. What does that mean? I'll give you a real world example. In the practice of Ifa, of Isheshe, when you sit on the mat and you receive a divination, one of the products of that divination is going to be an Ebo, period. If you practice Ifa, you receive a consultation, you're going to have to do an Ebo. If you hear the Ebo, you must comply. If you know anything about Ifa, you know that it never works out when someone hears the Ebo and they don't comply, but yet people will pretend to practice Ifa. They will say that they practice Ifa. The Ebo may be too hard for them. Maybe the dates don't line up. Maybe the money is too much. Maybe they don't want to kill animals. So they play with the tradition, for example, and they're unable to meet the needs to balance the energy. Those people are hearers of the word and not doers of it. That doesn't work. That's an imbalance. I once worked with a Babalawo, one of the first Babalawo that I worked with. He came from the Lukumi tradition. His name was Ifa Jimmy. And he would say, Ifa is not something that you talk about. It's not something that you read about. It's not even something that you write about. It is something that you must do. It's a thing to do. You must not just be hearers of the word. You must also be doers of the word. You must do what it is that you are called to do. This aligns with the metaphysical law of vibration. When you are in alignment with your vibration, when you are on that frequency, when you hear very clearly, without doubts, what it is that you came here to do, what it is that you need to do, and for whom you are here to do it, you're tapped into the voice of God. That is the law of vibration. It's also the law of resonance, because you'll tap into and you'll hear those things that align with where you are and what you're on. That's the law of resonance. So if you want to be a butterfly, then you got to be in rooms with butterflies. Precision also means obedience. It means obedience. So in spite of the metaphysical law, vibration, resonance, in spite of the scripture that James is talking about, it just all boils down to obedience. When you hear the call, you have to answer it. When you are fortunate enough and gifted enough and blessed enough and protected enough to hear the call, you must answer it. Yes, you must do what you say you're going to do. You must also do what you have to do, but you must do what you need to do. Being precise means that you move with wisdom. It means that you are obedient. It means that you have increased awareness, or you are attuned enough to your awareness to understand what needs to be done, and that you have the courage to do it. It means believing, understanding, trusting that you can do it, knowing that you would not be asked to do a thing that you are not prepared to do. There are three ways that you can be precise. The first one, as I told you earlier, is doing what you say you're going to do. The second one is doing what you are called to do, because that's the road that's already been cleared for you. That's the reason you're being asked to do it. And finally, understanding along that road the things that need to be done, the things that only you can do the way that you can do them, and accepting that challenge. There's a Bible verse. It comes out of Luke chapter 14, verse 27. Whosoever does not carry their cross and follow me cannot be my disciple. That's real. You cannot say that you practice Orisa Hoodoo, that you practice Ifa, and you hear the Ebo and you do not comply. You cannot say that you practice Ifa and you believe in destiny, and your destiny is revealed through divination, and you do another thing. You cannot say that you are here for the advancement and evolution and expansion of Black people, but you allow white supremacy to derail your efforts and your plans. The metaphysical law of correspondence says that what you do in the visible realm corresponds with what happens in the unseen, as above, so below. It means that before anything manifests in the physical, it was already forming in the spiritual. It was already forming based on your spiritual composition, who you actually are, not how you appear to be, not who you say you are, not who people think you are, but the chemistry of it all. The stardust that you consist of and how that organizes in a way that's perceivable by others. That's what we're talking about. The things that you can't fake. The truth that will always come to the light. Precision also means sacrifice. Sometimes it's not about what you do, but it's about what you must do. Because we all do what's easy for us. You're going to do those things that are easy for you to do. If you can cook, it ain't nothing for you to bring a pot of greens to the potluck. But what's difficult for you? What did you have to put a little extra effort into? What stretched you? What are those things that you gave that helped you become? That's what we're talking about. Not what you did with ease, but what you had to do to get to that next level in your walk. Lightning doesn't choose where it strikes. It knows its purpose and it follows it. It doesn't try to negotiate with God. Lightning goes where God says you will go, where the channel is prepared for lightning to go. We need to be more like lightning. Priestess Ocean Kamivi.
Oh my God. Thank y'all. Okay. Y'all can hear me now. We're good now. Precision, alignment. Thank you. That's why we have sisters. I wanted to say, yes, priestess, I definitely heard everything that you were saying, and our community did as well. You have all the ashes, you've been getting all the responses needed. It's literally the Shango in their heart that's beating that. It's literally the Shango energy within your brain that is sending those electric responses, which we will get to in a moment. For those of you guys who may not know me, my name is Reverend Priestess Oshun Kimebi Ifakemi. I am a root doctor, natural medicine doctoral candidate, biomedical health scientist, priestess, and ATR educator. And I want to talk about how lightning is affecting us, not only spiritually, like my godmother did um, such a wonderful job explaining in literally any aspect you can think of, biblically, spiritually, metaphysically, and just on the basis level, from black woman to black woman, black person to black person. But let's just dive in deep a little bit more into that, right? So when we are talking about the aspects of lightning, remember we already talked about the characteristics that lightning carries. It is precise, and it is carried out the same way within your mind, body, and soul. Okay, when we are looking at the lightning within our body, remember those electric impulses, we are understanding at the foundational aspect that lightning is one of the most powerful forces on earth. And like on earth, as in heaven, all is one reflections. So that same single bolt that is carrying millions and millions of volts, that is so hot, some even hotter than the surface of the sun, we understand that the body itself carries aspects of electricity in similar aspects within our brain, Ori. That is why we must be aligned with Ori, so we can actually receive the communication from our spiritual core and align with our destiny in a way that not only makes sense but is practical, and a way to do it with ease, without disorder, without delay, right? Ibashe Ori or Larumi, which is basically saying Ori is my creator above all else, because we know that Ori is our first Orisha. Even though Orisha have Ori, Orisha, right? Basically means the head of. So in order to be precise, baby, you got to be tapped in. That's one of the first things that I teach every student that is coming to our temple, especially within free mentorship. That is the very first thing that I teach you. You have to understand the connection with Ori. It's a foundational to all things, okay? And then we are looking at our heart, okay? Not just physically, because the same we have we have electric impulses that fire off our heart, so it's able to beat just like it's able to fire off electric impulses within our brain. We understand that, again, Ogun has already cleared the way. It's the same connection that it was already referenced before, okay? So we need to understand that from a very, very foundational level, from our mind, from our body, even including the nerves, nervous system, literally, yes, the PNS and the SNS systems. Yes, we will get it together. And I'm actually going to teach you guys how to make a doll, a healing doll related to the body systems within my Rooted Remedies lab later all in the fall. If you'd like more information, you will join learn-to-reach-hoodoo.com, so you can definitely tap into that, okay? But also understanding that we have electric impulses within our nerves, okay, within our organs, which is able to do what needs to be done, okay? So the question is, if God designed us with electricity inside and commands lightning outside, What does this teach us about the power working through us? We already know, again, from the basis of understanding of who we are. Job, listen here, we're gonna be in Job a lot today, okay? So Job Job is saying, Job 37:3 says he unleashes his lightning beneath the whole heaven and sends to the ends of the earth. Remember, all is one reflections that we shall live within us and around us. See, you picking up what I'm putting down again. So I started off talking about the body that's having the lightning, the electricity running through us within the main body systems that allow us to speak, that allow us to move, that allow us to function. Again, the same points that yeah just referenced, okay? The same points that we have to understand how we are supposed to move with precision without delayed disease or disorder, okay?
Nobody talks about you, then you